My mocked me because I failed my graduation project and I broke up with her because of it. I studied mechanical engineering and my graduation project was about engines. My girlfriend said that she wants to come and watch me present my graduation project and support me. I presented my graduation project with 3 of my classmates. Each one of us handles their own chapter of the presentation. I was the who read the introduction and started with chapter 1, and there was 4 professors sitting on their tables assessing our project and our performance and the engine we built. And my girlfriend was sitting in the corner listening to our presentation. In the beginning of my presentation of chapter 1 I panicked a little bit and I made just small mistakes that weren't even the noticeable, but my girlfriend on the corner was smirking and smiling whenever I do a mistake. She said that she's coming to support, but she was laughing. Anyhow, I continued presenting my chapter and I answered the professor's questions and I did great, that's what the professors said. After I was done, my 2 other classmates presented their chapters, but they did not do great and they got most of the professor's questions wrong. The professors were disappointed of my friend's performance and they decided that we should redo the project next month. One of the professors said, "What about the op? And he did great, it's kinda unfair to make him redo the project because of his other 2 classmates' mistakes." Another professor said, "Yeah, you are right, but he should redo it too with his classmates." After the long discussion between them, they decided that I should redo it with my classmates. When we were over, my girlfriend approached me and she laughing and she said, "It's okay, you will get it right the next time," and she tried to hug me. But I just walked away and she said, "Wait, are you upset?" I drove my girlfriend back to her place and I broke up with her there. She said, "You can't be serious, you're breaking up with me over this." I said, "You were supposed to support me instead of just laughing at my face, laughing at my failure." She said, "I wasn't laughing, I was just laughing at your classmates, not you." She was laughing at me when I was reading my chapter like I'm not blind. Like I have no idea why she was smirking and laughing. It's not like I have nothing going on for me in my life. I have a pretty decent job and I don't even need my college degree, like I got my job and it pays well. Anyhow, ever since I broke up with her and she's been sending me messages non-stop, calling me non-stop, telling me how sorry she is and she didn't mean to hurt me and to please forgive her. I haven't been to responding or answering or calls. I just don't know what to do. Any advices? Comment. Yeah, that's completely inappropriate behavior for someone sitting in on an academic assessment. She should have been ejected immediately. Op can't have been the only person who noticed. That is so shitty of her. I believe that breaking up with her is completely warranted in this situation. That's not the kind of person I would want around. If she can't maintain her composure during something so small, imagine how awful she'll be over more serious life matters. I'm getting a heavy unreliable narrator vibe from Op. Honestly sounds like his girlfriend was simply smiling and he interpreted that as her laughing at him. Op, you did the right thing. If your partner insults and laughs at you when you're down, that's just awful. Keep your head high and prioritize on your project. Was it a capstone project? It sounded similar in format to my research project presentation right before I graduated. Don't ever take her back. At best, just let her know, I can't be with someone who mocks their partner when they are down. I think some extra context is really needed here. Is she someone who purposefully puts you down or verbally abuses you? In other words, does she have a pattern of this kind of behavior? Because honestly something doesn't add up here. You say yourself that your mistakes weren't even noticeable? If your professors didn't notice them, then how did she? I know most of these comments are agreeing with you, and because of that you probably feel justified in your actions, but that's because they're taking everything you said in your post exactly as you said it, and forgetting that human beings can be unreliable in how they interpret situations. I'm not necessarily saying that's for sure the case here, but if this kind of behavior isn't typical of her, then I think there's a high likelihood you're misinterpreting her behavior. You say she was smirking and smiling at your mistakes, but also say your mistakes weren't noticeable. Did you ever consider that she was just smiling because she was trying to be supportive? Would frowning have been better? What facial expressions would have been appropriate in your mind? When your friends made some more blatant mistakes, was she literally laughing out loud, or was she just smiling? Is it possible she was feeling awkward and uncomfortable watching your partners make some pretty egregious mistakes? I know from experience that sometimes I laugh or smile in awkward situations, almost like a defense mechanism. My ex-girlfriend also had a habit of giggling when she was nervous. I also get the sense that you were super focused on your girlfriend and her reaction during your presentation. It sounds like you really care about her perception of you. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. We all like to impress our significant others and make them proud. With that said, is it possible this hyper-focus is rooted in insecurity? I'm not trying to be harsh. This is just what my gut is telling me after reading your post. If it were me in your situation, and I noticed my girlfriend smiling/giggling after I'd made a mistake, I would have definitely brought it up to her after. But unless she had shown this kind of behavior in the past, I definitely wouldn't assume the worst. I would give her the benefit of the doubt that her behavior wasn't malicious. Again, this all comes down to the kind of person she has shown herself to be. That's why I ask if she has a history of putting you down or verbally abusing you. The kind of behavior you are suggesting isn't usually a one-time thing. If she's never behaved this way before, I think she deserves the benefit of the doubt. On the other hand, if she has a history of... Next story 2. How do I tell my friend that I don't want to see her again? I've had a thing for my friend for quite some time now. I even told her about my feelings 4.5 months ago, but she told me that she couldn't reciprocate my feelings and likes me as a friend. Understandably, I was quite sad about this, but I threw my feelings for her under the rug because we had planned a vacation together at the fag end of last year. Last month we went on that vacation, a trek, and it was weird for me to say the least. Having to sleep in a tent with her for 5 days and in a hotel room in the same bed for 3 days, things were difficult for me because my feelings for her were still there. Before the trek, she mentioned that she was using Bumble there, and it basically killed my mood that I stopped replying soon after and went to sleep. Then at the end of the trek, while taking a late night walk, she mentioned she developed a crush on a guy on the trek initially, which again killed my mood. I'm currently at my hometown and should meet her next month when my remote work ends and I'll travel back. Now, we do a ton of things together in the city we live in. Hang out 2 to 3 days a week and do random stuff, so the situation is messy in terms of leaving, but I can't keep hurting myself. I even tried dating apps, but I'd always end up canceling the dates and go out with her instead. There's also the fact that she's new to the city and other than me only has one other friend, and she does complain how lonely she feels at times here, so I don't want to leave her high and dry. I really like her, and the fact that she doesn't is disheartening. I've thought of asking her out again, but my heart knows that she doesn't have the same feelings for me, so it'll only end in heartbreak. And I'm trying really hard to not to try to convince myself for anything different. So I'm really confused as to how do I break the news to her. The best I've come up with is to tell her the truth and that my feelings for her are still there, but it's really tough for me to hang out with her because I know she doesn't feel the same, and for my sanity I would prefer not to hang out with her. But I don't know how to broach this topic, and also the fact that I'm worried she will try to talk me out of this. Comment. If I were you, I'd just tell her you want some space for some set duration of time, maybe a couple months or something, to get over your feelings, maybe get something started with other people, etc. You could go the route of cutting off the friendship entirely, but if you actually value her as a friend and think you'd be losing out, I don't see why that would be the better option. Just give her an idea of how long to expect you to be AWOL. You can take space and be upfront about why. Just tell her you try just being friends, but you can't help how you feel. You don't want to be a pest by asking her out repeatedly, but the friendship can't continue as is. Sleeping in the same tent and the same bed with a man that has the hots for her? Damn, you did that. She did that knowing how you felt about her? She calls and you come running like a good puppy, a puppy that has been neutered. She sees you as a eunuch. Yeah, stop being spineless and just tell her you need some space for a while to sort out your feelings and ghost her for a while. Sheesh, you aren't responsible for her loneliness. Ugh, I hate situations like this. I was friends with a coworker a while back. He was one of my favorite people and we became really close. He developed strong feelings for me. As much as I liked him as a person, I just didn't feel that romantic or sexual connection. He had to end the friendship. We didn't talk for a few years. He ended up getting married, and now we hang out with his wife most of the time, once or twice a year for dinner. I don't think he has feelings for me anymore, but I imagine he's keeping distance out of respect for his wife. It's sad we aren't as close as we used to be, but I totally understand his point of view. I'm happy to have him in my life in any capacity. It's completely fair for you to give yourself a break from this friendship. It sounds too painful for you. Maybe in a few months or a few years you can be friends again, but give yourself space for now. If she's a decent person, she'll understand.